Well, you just want to wing it?
Just wing it, dude.
Wing it. Believe in your talents.
Be like a bird and wing it. Is that not a saying?
You know I'm not a big fan of birds, man. Why don't you use that joke?
It's just the first thing that popped into my head, and I apologize.
Welcome to the Moot Points Podcast, everybody. Did a little radio voice there.
DJ BJ.
We'll start that off again. You know why that bugged me?
Why?
Because it didn't start off at the beginning of the song, damn it.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
it got to
sure.
start off. Like, that's the whole thing. Here. Here's
Nothing,
what we're gonna...
nothing pisses me off more than Blink-182 getting ruined.
Right? Check this out. See that beginning?
It's heavy.
And also, I'm blowing out people's speakers right now. It was up a little bit high.
Whoops.
I'm still learning how to master the technology on this soundboard right now to make sure that I don't blow your eardrums out. Sorry, everybody. Let's try that again. Welcome to the Moot Points Podcast with myself, Brian Moot, and my co-host, as always, Patrick Moot.
What up?
The better half of the Moot Points Podcast.
Who, me?
Yeah, according to everybody after the weekend, you're the better brother.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh.
you're the better brother for sure, by a mile, I guess. We'll get into that in a second.
pretty awesome.
What does that song remind you of? Do you ever have a song... Blink-182, damn it, just popped into my head today. What does that remind you of? What does that song remind you of?
It reminds me of The Gorge.
The Gorge?
I saw them 3 times, I think, in high school.
They were great, man.
And the first one, I was like, yeah, sure. And they were really funny, too. Like, they were actually a funny band to see. They did, like, a Satan voice and
they had jokes
talked
and stuff.
vulgar
They goofed around.
about boners and
all the stuff
poop
that a
and stuff.
sophomore in high school loves.
13, 14. No, we were... Well, you might
have been a junior.
I was like in
sophomore,
8th
junior.
grade. I think you took me out there right before my
Is that when I
freshman year.
choke slammed
Yes.
Travis Roan into the side of the van?
I believe it was around then.
Yeah, I don't really rage very often. When I do, it's a
Woo!
complete Hulk snap.
It is a thing.
It
Thing
is
of beauty.
It is a.
Somebody
I
get
don't
this
know
man
if
some
it's a
purple
thing of
sweatpants.
beauty.
He's going crazy.
This will be 2 podcasts in a row. We talk about me like raging or threatening to beat up everyone in a house or something. Let's not do that.
Let's not.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of going snowboarding and I want to say like freshman year of high school. We'd all have like lift seasons passes for Snoqualmie or Stevens Pass, generally Stevens Pass, and we would leave on like the 2:30 ferry, and that song would hit as the Jeep, like as my buddy Eric's Jeep started to go like off the ferry, and we could get up to the pass by the end of that album. We'd always roll down the windows and let all the cold air blast in.
Man, you guys were so cool.
Well, and they'd also be smoking cigarettes and other things.
Sure.
I was such a loser and such a nerd.
Don't
doing
call
drugs.
yourself that.
No, in high school.
That's a smart way to be in high school.
Well, I'd say now I am too, because every
you're
kind of
still,
drug scares me. I'm a
nothing's
square.
changed.
But I remember one time I took a hit off a cigarette. I called it a hit. Took a drag off a cigarette. So cool.
Whatever you want to call it, bro.
And I got
Most people just call it smoking.
I got
whatever.
well, you don't smoke, so someone offers you a drag, and I was like, sure, man.
Oh, hey, I'll take a big old pufferino.
I'm feeling crazy today.
Let me take a
pufferito.
pufferino.
I thought you said pufferito like it's Mexican food.
It sounds like something a non-smoker would say. Hey,
can we get a pufferito off the cigarillo?
Can I get a puff?
Can I get a puffadilla off the cigarillo?
Yeah, sure.
And I got so buzzed I almost fell off the chairlift. That's how much of a lightweight when it comes to smoking.
Man, if you died of smoking, and not of like the actual long-term and horrible effects of it, but if you died just because you took a hit and got a buzz and fell off a chairlift, that'd be the first. That'd be the first smoking-related death like that. That would actually be like a great thing for anti-smoking campaigns. Like, look it can kill you on a chairlift.
I think we're going
you can just die right away.
By the way, I think for today's
first hit, dead.
Today's musical theme on the podcast, I think we're going to go all high school alternative hits. I've got the next one queued up. We're not ready to change.
Saves the Day wouldn't be a bad idea to throw in there.
We're not ready to change topics yet. Because I want to get back to why I found out Pat's the cooler brother by a mile. We're talking about this on the radio show.
I'm so curious as to why I'm the cooler brother. I mean, I think I am. I just didn't think that everybody else thought that.
Well, no. So what happens is
you would become the cooler brother somehow. Because I used to be the cooler brother.
Okay, but here's the thing: less pressure on you in your life makes you cooler. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that you have less pressure.
All right.
But you can be that guy. Like,
yeah.
And I think the roles have been reversed in the past where, like, I've been the big fun guy and you've had responsibility because, I was just living, like, check to check on your couch And not that you are now, but
I was
feel
making
like
money. That was when I was making money easy though. Like I was making money like
hand over fist.
Yeah, I was making cash like.
I mean, you were
working
like 10
a
national
total like
commercials
7
a year.
days a year. Yeah.
I mean, you were killing it. AT&T,
6 figures.
What? AT&T, Hot Pockets. Who knows what else?
Any dumb,
just rattle them off.
Dumb thing. Toyota, Pizza Huts, Taco Bell.
Yeah, you crushed
Samsung.
I'm still like a little congested, man. And everybody was telling me that it was because of the drinking out in Kentucky. It's not. I am allergic to the whatever grass pollens they have out there. And I found that out again today in studio. Today in studio was Davi's birthday, and Cassie brought in she wanted to bring in flowers because Davi was in Amsterdam for her birthday last year with her husband Blair. And so she brought in 19 bouquets of just whatever.
I bet they're tulips.
No, they weren't tulips. They didn't have tulips.
I thought that was the whole Amsterdam
It is, but she's
thing.
like, these aren't tulips because I don't think she could afford 17 bouquets of tulips because who can?
Why would you want 17 bouquets?
Because she just want to make it look like a flower field over by her, which is next to me. If you can hear my voice, I still am suffering. So I felt fine this morning. I get to the studio, Cassie breaks out a frigging flower field of flowers, and my right eye is burning and watering. And I swear Davi and I were laughing about it all morning about how I was having this asthma or this allergy suffocation. And then at the end of the show, Bert starts laughing at me. He's like, dude, that's what... He's like, you seemed like low energy all show. I was like, yeah, because I just took a bunch of antihistamines so my right eye would stop watering because that's the one closest to the flower fields, man.
You know what? This actually is a great opportunity for you to never have to buy a girl flowers
I
again
just
because
said
you'll
that.
be like, babe, I can't.
Tweet at me, at Moote Points. Is that a legitimate...
I'm allergic.
reason to buy too many flowers. Like if we have flowers in the house and you're like, and the girl's like, oh, you never buy me flowers, and we have a set of flowers. You know I'm allergic to flowers.
What do you want me to die?
Maybe you want me to tear up and cry when I give you flowers?
Just buy plastic flowers, and you only have to do it once.
Well, hey, let's think about it
We
this
have plastic
way.
flowers.
Let's think about it the other direction.
One
it
bouquet.
gives me a complete reason to be tearing up when I'm giving a girl flowers, and then she's like, "Oh my God, he really means it. Oh, he loves me." And I'm like, "Yeah, nah, I'm having an allergy attack."
You know why that's romantic? Because you're thinking ahead as to how you can make it appear more romantic. Because you're never going to be that guy. And a girl wants that guy who can cry when he gives flowers, but you're never going to be that guy.
I'm not.
So you're looking for ways to try and make her think you're that guy. That sounds like lying, but I think it's actually just trying really hard to be the person they want you to be.
Isn't that what dating is? Just a series of lying to people?
No.
It is. They're just small lies.
It's like behavior modification. It's not lying.
I guess
you modify your behavior in order to make this person happy.
You know what? You're full of it right now.
Alternate facts.
You just modified your behavior to not piss off women listening to the podcast when you said it wasn't lying.
That's
it's
right.
behavior modification. I see what you're doing here.
I'm single, Brian.
You're tempering the truth.
We should be trying.
You're tempering. I know we should be hollering a little harder.
I know.
What up? So this is how. You know what? We're gonna go to. I want to play another song, so we're gonna transition a little bit. I do. I'm feeling.
But I will say that it really is it's like relationships are like gymnastics for your emotions, and your feelings. You have to change them. They gotta flip around and hang from the ceiling.
See, this song is really something how I
Nail
feel
the
today.
landings.
I am one of those
For reasons we will not get into.
Every time it's no. Okay, never mind. We're not even gonna start down that path. This was the first album I ever bought, and we were on a road trip in Montana, and it has all the little dogs throwing poop at each other.
Yeah.
You know what? That's like a metaphor for society, man. We're all just a bunch of dogs throwing poop at each other.
You know what?
You know?
I'm gonna start playing other songs that indicate what my problems are today.
Oh boy.
Can I be subtle about it?
Oh my God, you're so subtle.
Can I be
Brian.
subtle about it?
Brian, you are so subtle.
What?
You're about as subtle as a shotgun in the library. You can't.
Whoa!
That was a little dark.
Patrick,
That was a little dark.
was
I apologize. I was just
Okay.
thinking of something loud and something quiet, and I
Okay, how about
didn't mean
this? How about
any-
this?
there's
This is
no
how we'll transition to the
subcontext.
next story about how I know Patrick's a cooler brother than I am, and maybe this indicates why I'm in a little bit of a downer mood today.
I know. Now you're just giving me the cooler brother title. I'm insane. All right.
What?
Nothing. I love this song. It's great. It's 9/10.
Mo money, mo
This
problems.
song's for me.
Mo money, mo
This
problems.
song's for me because I am coming up. Because I'm the cooler brother. I'm hot, Mace. Thank you for asking. Thank you for asking. I sell out in the stores. I pop the blue drop.
All right, I'm done with that. Just need to get it off my chest a little bit. And I'll stop blasting. I'm going to have to EQ this thing because I am blaring the music out of people's stereos right now.
Brian, it's HQ, not EQ.
What's EQ?
You're going to have to headquarters it. Like, send it down to the station. To the
you
shop.
mean down to the processing plant?
Yeah.
Down to the audio processing plant.
Yeah, where they snip the film reels.
Yeah, man. That's exactly what
So let's hear why I'm
Amazing.
the cooler brother.
Okay,
because
so
I can't imagine.
So we brought this up today on the radio. We were talking about it. And this kind of baffled me. It blew me away a little bit. But
you guys talked about how I was cooler on the radio?
for sure. The segment runs tomorrow. I'll post this.
Right.
When did we post the shenanigans, our last podcast?
cares?
We posted that on
Who cares?
Monday. We talked
content
We're
for the
talking about it
earholes.
today. We're talking about today. We're trying to get 2 podcasts up a week, everybody. We're trying to really up the game here.
That's true.
Now, Patrick's going to be on a trip next week out in Los Angeles, so I'm going to have to find random co-hosts to fill in, but I think I got one, Joe Schreck, who
the financial wizard.
is maybe the smoothest dude I've ever met. Super fun.
Great hair, tight finances.
Best hair.
Yep.
And also my financial planner. And we could go through my financial planning if we want to.
That's
maybe not a good
segment
thing.
I want to do so bad with him.
Yeah,
to sit down and let him go through our
Maybe
bank
we shouldn't
statements
go
because
through
it's
my
gonna be
financial
brutal.
planning for the next
No.
year or so.
Not going to be much to do.
All right. So let's see. So I brought this up, and this fascinated me. I noticed that people were kind of going like, "Oh, Brian, why didn't you bring a date? Where's your date? Why didn't you bring a date to the wedding?" And then I'd comment like, "Pat's my date." And then people would be like, "You brought your brother to a wedding? You guys are grown men.
Buzzing.
You brought a man to a wedding." So people were
that's
kind of
right.
blown away by me bringing
Why
you.
can't we be soulmates? Is that so wrong? We're already blood related.
mean,
we spent our whole
Who are
lives
you
with-
asking that question
I
to?
figured out
To
how
me?
to. Yeah, I figured out how to deal with you without having to like give a shit about. Ooh.
Whoa, that's rude. One, you
Dang, I
cursed.
dropped a
Actually, you
bomb.
know what? We swore on the podcast.
To
in the
give a
basement.
darn.
On the drunk cast in the basement from the ghost
There
house.
was 6, I think. There was like 6. Most of them were chased.
So if you,
But
didn't,
either way,
if you didn't listen to the last podcast, we were broadcasting live from the basement of a ghost house. So you want to go back and listen to that so
Yeah,
you know
do
some of
that.
the references.
I've learned how to live with you. I don't really want to go through the process of learning how to live with someone else. That
I
kind of
mean-
makes us like soulmates.
That is a good point because sometimes I'll walk into the apartment and I'm like, Pat, come on. But then I'm like, but I've known this forever.
Yeah.
I didn't just find out that you'll leave American Spirit pack of cigarettes on the counter and maybe what else is that ash or is that other stuff?
You know what, Brian?
None of your business. That's your area.
My area.
That's the couch area.
That is
That's
the
your
couch
area. It's your room.
This
Respect your room.
This was your idea.
Respect your room. It is, and it's going well, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on the show, which is our new slogan. We'll talk about that later on the show, and that's
We'll get
because
to that
I want
later,
you guys
but
to keep.
first-
I want you guys to keep listening to the entire show.
Yeah, and sometimes we'll talk about doing something for multiple weeks
Oh,
and
for
never
sure.
do it.
Like going through my finances.
We'll forget.
So then I asked Kristen. I was like, "Well, is it weird that I've only known you for a year and a half, and I brought my brother?" And she was like, "No, your brother's awesome." And then everybody like down the line was concurring, like, "Your brother is awesome. Your brother's dope." Like Cassie like took it upon herself to send me a text message saying, "Oh, by the way, if you haven't listened to Cassie and Dobby's podcast, Broadly Speaking, give that a listen too." It's on the Burt Show app with us.
Those chicks are dope.
If you found this on the Burt Show app, it's for the radio show, the Burt Show.
I mean, those women are sublime.
It's a great name for a podcast, too,
It is.
broadly speaking.
Yeah.
And then if you listen to this audio boom, you can also listen on the Burt Show podcast. Or if you're listening to it on the Facebook page, thank you very much for that. I don't know why I went through all those ways to listen to the show, but I did. So
They've already found one of those ways.
I got messaged, like Cassie messaged me like, "Yo, I think it's super cool that your brother is able just to like come in and hang with everybody." Like if you look at photos from Kristen's wedding was a blast, and you can't even tell that Patrick hasn't really known all
any
of
of those
very
people.
long.
They're all strangers.
No, not at all, really.
No. I make friends fast, man. I'm like a social chameleon. Like my behavior, I'm a behavior modifier. My behavior can be modified to whatever situation
He doesn't
I need.
want you to know who he really is,
It's
ladies.
true. It's true. If I ended up in a situation where I was around a bunch of people who probably thought different than I wouldn't necessarily, and it was almost to a point that was offensive. I would behavior modify enough to be able to like get out of that situation without it getting too awkward.
Yeah.
I couldn't necessarily agree with them if they were like, I was around a bunch of racists or something, be like, "You're right, yeah." I'd be like, I can see where
you
you're coming
make it
from,
a little
but-
bit awkward. But you make it fun awkward. Like
Yeah.
Like you're fun until you face plant down the stairs and almost break your nose.
That's only happened once, though.
Right.
So.
No, you almost did it again in Lexington when I woke up to a video of you box jumping in downtown.
I didn't almost do it, though. And I was fully aware that it was really dangerous. So I had Bert stand behind me. He was going to catch me. And he's rock solid, dude. He could totally catch me. And then my body wouldn't let me jump. I embarrassed myself.
So everybody went down the line.
Called out on
and one of the reasons that I knew that people thought it was weird.
Yeah, let's get back to why I'm awesome.
Well, one reason I knew that people thought it was kind of weird that we were that I brought you to my wedding is that at one point in time we were dancing to "Be Your Hero" because that was Bart's song that Bart wanted to dance with his mom at, but his mom she's an older lady and she couldn't make it that late at the reception because the reception for Kristen and Bert's wedding or Kristen and Bart's wedding. Bart, man, that's a tough one.
Yeah,
tough slip.
Tough.
I think Bert's even slipped saying that. Like, Kristen, you met Bert a long time. Like, his own name slipped. And we're like, whoa, buddy.
Yeah.
Okay, whoops. So the reception started popping off about 9 or so.
The food was divine.
Fried chicken.
Well played.
And the DJs killed it. It was Mike Morse, who works at one of our sister stations that Bert, EA Networks owns, the Craddock Show out in Dallas. And then Tommy. And then there was another DJ from Cincinnati who I don't even know. Where was that guy hiding out at? In the back? Like, was there a third set of turntables?
Are you asking me for details about the night, Brian? Because I'm going to tell you what.
It got a little
Not
hazy.
The guy.
It got a little hazy.
Not the guy.
We ate more food that night.
Oh, man, that fried chicken and gravy, like, it was like bourbon
Well, let's
fried
just go
chicken
through
with
that
gravy
day. So,
and, like, green beans.
So we talked about what happened out in Lexington all the way up until we left the Ghost House podcast. And that was, we had been bar hopping all day. We went to the Hopcat like twice already.
3 times.
Third time I haven't got to it yet.
Sorry.
We go to the wedding, which is beautiful, though Pat and I got in trouble right away. Pat Chase and I, when we started walking up the wrong way.
See, I realized it before you guys did, and I turned around and
you
didn't say a
peeled out?
word. No, I let
See,
you
that's
guys.
why people like you better than me, because
I know.
I'm the one who, Chase and I walk into Kristen, you know, and they don't want you to see the bride yet in her dress.
They just wandered right back there, and when someone told them to stop, they're like, no, we're going to the wedding.
No, I did not say that. I turned immediately.
Okay,
I turned.
but
No, because it was Renee. It was Tommy's.
Funnier.
Our show director Tommy's wife. Renee doesn't yell at anybody, and she was like, "Turn around!" And I was like, "All right, buddy." Okay.
I saw that.
So,
I heard it, and I was like,
and we kept it together for the. I mean, we didn't really get too drunk at the wedding, which is good. I also get nervous, like, because I've been so hammered at so many weddings. I didn't really turn it up until we left the wedding and went to Hopcat, and then I was like, shots. Instagram live. Say a bunch of things that you're gonna regret.
no.
Delete the
Moving
video
on.
immediately.
Moving on.
Oh, I don't care about those. See, that's why I like Instagram Live, though. If you're only privy to it, it deletes itself.
Okay,
so there's
we
no
are
permanent
off track
record.
because before we were talking about what it boils down to that everybody likes me.
Oh yeah,
so
everybody
much.
likes you way better. That's what I meant.
I think
the
it's behavior
whole point.
modifying. I hate for situations to be awkward. Also, everybody's super cool and nice, so it was very easy to kind of. And I had met people enough, but I was excited to get a chance to go and meet everybody and get to know everybody better.
The drive home,
and now we're all best friends.
The drive home was utterly god awful because we didn't stop drinking until 3:30 in the morning. And we had to be out of the big ghost house by 9:30 in the morning. Though we blew through that. It was funny. I didn't even look at. I didn't know where my phone was. I did the thing where I didn't know where anything was. My wallet, anything. And I didn't know what time it was. I knew you had gotten up. For some reason, Pat and I slept in the same bed all weekend. I think it's because we were in a ghost house
every night. I'll tell you why. Because you typically were falling asleep before me, but after you would go to bed, I would either FaceTime with people down in the basement and scare them with the skeletons. Or I took Chase down there once. I took Bert down there. Like I was taking everybody on tours of the basement, scaring the ever-loving, daylights out of myself. And then going and laying down in that other room that had all the creepy pictures and the bird cage with the stuffed animals in it. And I'd lay there for 10 seconds.
Oh, that room was
like,
awful.
Oh, I'd lay there for 10 seconds, stare at the ceiling and be like, nope.
That room
get up
had...
and then cuddle up.
That room
with
had...
my man.
The...
Big B.
Had the little tiny Christmas ornaments that were looked like babies, but had men faces on them, like little manly Santa faces.
It's a good look for a baby.
Disgusting.
An old man's face.
Old man's face on a baby.
Absolutely horrifying.
So the next morning, we get up, and when you wake up with a hangover, and you're like, I don't feel too bad right now, and then about 2.5 hours later,
Ninja kick.
It's because I wasn't done being drunk yet.
Yeah,
I could have kept this going. So, and it's pouring rain. Oh, it's pouring rain, and we have now in our car we have 5 people because Bert and Tiffany couldn't ride back with us in the airplane because the weather was too crappy. So their tiny little puddle jumper, they had to leave it there in Lexington for the night. So we had to get back for the show. So we have to all pack in the car. Pat and I sleep 95% of the drive.
I was out.
I mean, we went to Taco Bell. This is how hungover I was. We went to Taco Bell, and I ordered a burrito bowl. I didn't even finish it because I just was like, my stomach was like not feeling it. And I didn't want to have a bunch of queso and all this garbage.
I hadn't ate fast food in probably 3 months, literally, and then had McDonald's breakfast for breakfast, and then a Nachos Bar Grande and a Taco Supreme.
I did crush a breakfast sandwich.
Man. 2 times in one day.
Yeah,
my stomach's been making weird noises.
The thing is about us is
Morse code.
We didn't grow up eating fast food because we grew up on an island. So we grew up. We had a Dairy Queen.
But who
that
wants
was
to
it?
Hot
Eats, Cool Treats. Get out of here.
Cool Treats all day. Hot Eats. Come on.
I mean, their Hot Eats were like
the chicken fingers.
That was
gravy.
Yeah, it was gravy.
That was bomb.
And then they had Dairy Queen's convinced people still love hot dogs at a fast food place, and they don't unless it's like a place that only serves hot dogs.
Yeah, sure. It's got to be a thing.
Yeah. Hot dogs aren't a thing you casually serve.
Got to be a wiener.
It's remember that place? Remember that place in Pomona, California? That was right by the apartment that we lived at when I was in college, and you were down doing improv comedy in LA. You just moved to LA, and it was pizza, Chinese food, donuts, and burgers.
You know
that was the name of it. That's what it was called: pizza, Chinese food, donuts, and burgers. And then they added like a banner to hang down below, and it said, and Southern Fried Chicken. And I was like, you can't, listen, if I need any of those things, I'm not going to you at all. I want someone who specializes in one of those things. They have to be better at burgers and pizza than you are when you add in Chinese food. What are you doing?
It's like one of those douchey people you meet who are like, I'm a model, actor, DJ.
Too many slashes.
I've got a fashion line. I'm doing a podcast. They have way too many slashes. It's like, you're jack of no trades.
Right.
You're so bad at everything, it's almost impressive.
I mean, the slashes have to be in the same ballpark.
Sure.
I remember a guy handing me a business card one time, and it was like, landscaping / I do weddings / I DJ / I roof houses /
I'm a bodybuilding mortician.
Yeah, personal trainer / dietitian. It's like, no, you're none of those things. But I would just say, go through your slashes right now.
I ate at that place.
How many slashes you got on your business card right now?
Me?
Yeah, Mr. Judgy McJudgerson.
Writer, actor, director, producer, comedian-ish.
What, comedian-ish? Hey, that would be funny if you had that. Host?
I do funny-ish
You host
things.
awkward interviews.
I mean, I wouldn't put that. I would see some people I have friends who they take one acting class and they're back in LA, and all of a sudden it's they're telling people they're an actor. It's like, you're not. I wouldn't necessarily throw that slash on just yet. You should probably be good at that first. So I haven't really been paid to be a host.
And I learned this.
That's kind of.
I learned this too. When it comes to.
Plus, I don't want to be a host. Boring.
When it comes to I want to be a host of my own show, like a show, any show that I design. I want to be a host of that, or the show that I'm trying to pitch right now loosely over Facebook called Drunk Ghost Hunting. I think that would be a hilarious show. 2 drunk people staying the night in what's supposed to be a haunted house with cameras.
You know what's funny is that for some reason in that house, I just walked in there and I decided this is going to scare me too much if I let it. So I'm just going to pretend it doesn't scare me.
Get hammered about it.
Just get hammered about it. But I hung out in that basement probably more than I hung out in any other room in the house.
Well, yeah,
and I was sitting down there.
You'd
just
go off
chilling
by yourself when I was asleep. I learned this too on the way home. I learned this on the drive. I learned that when there is extreme traffic, just sit on the freeway. Don't try to get cute and get off. And especially around the area, Waze does its best, but everybody's got Waze now, so everybody's trying to
Waze doesn't necessarily. Sometimes Waze will send you on these paths where
wild goose chases.
Well, you have to take a left across a freeway.
Yeah, you can't. Or it's like this road doesn't even go the direction it thinks it goes now. Mm-hmm. What I found is that it ends up just putting you all over in circles and changing the route 1,000 times. And by the end of it, you haven't saved any time.
No.
You could have just sat in the traffic that you were in,
same spot.
Waiting to go by the accident, and you would have been fine. Mm-hmm. So it's like you gotta, take your losses when you have them.
I feel like you're rubbing in the fact that I don't have a car. Well, I guess we Uber. So what do we care?
I don't do cars either, man. I'm out on these cars right now.
Literally, my body shuts off when I'm
Uber
sitting
flat
in the
rate
car.
is the best.
Woo! It is hot. It's a hot deal.
Maybe it's got to adjust the bass. Oh, that's what's going on. So why am I playing this, Patrick? Because last night we were at Phillips Arena.
Oh, that's right.
for a half-court shot.
I honestly wasn't following you for the first. When you were
I
like,
wish
why
I
am
was
I playing
taller.
this? I
wish I was a baller.
I played basketball in college? I don't know.
So last night we were at the Phillips Arena. Bert from the Bert Show was shooting a half-court shot for $20,000 for Bert's Big Adventure, which is a nonprofit that we have on the show, which we take kids to with chronic and terminal illness to Disney World. We take their entire family too, which is the cool part. We don't just take them, which we don't just load them up with. We take their brothers and sisters who never get to go somewhere cool because their sibling is battling cancer, and that's expensive, and the parents are stressed out, and you can't just load up 10 kids and go down to Disney World. So it's a huge opportunity, right? And we made a big deal about it on the show where, we went down and Pat and I were helping Bert shoot half quarters, and we drained way more than he did, throwing him underhanded.
Oh
I learned height has a huge advantage for shooting half-court shots.
I thought you were going to say for basketball. Brian, I think basketball in general height
No.
has
I'm just saying math. I'm just saying physiologically.
Yeah.
Not with someone playing defense on you. I'm just saying length of arms. I never realized it because you always think of the advantage being because I'll swat that garbage out of the gym.
Right.
Because I'm taller than you. One, there's another advantage, just sheer physics. I mean, Bert is so strong. He's shredded. He's 5'4" and he's jacked.
You need that leverage, though.
He made it look difficult to get a ball to half court.
That's why most baseball players, like pitchers, really good ones, they're big. They're big boys. All that leverage, all that torque.
Yeah, I mean, shorter guys have bat speed. They can get their arms
here's the
on
thing.
faster.
I'm not that tall, but I'm very torquey.
You are wiry. You're wiry strong.
Thank you.
You're way stronger than you look. Some people are weaker than they look. Like they look strong and then they're weak. You are the opposite of that. You don't look strong at all.
I look weak.
Yeah, you look like...
But I'm strong.
You look gaunt, like sad.
Svelte is probably more accurate.
You like that? Right? That's a word you want to use?
Yeah,
svelte?
Svelte.
I would go gaunt.
Gaunt? You're gaunt.
I don't even know if that's a real word.
It is a word, okay?
It means like sad.
It looks unhealthy.
It's like Middle East. It's like Middle Eastern. It's medieval times for sad. Look at this gaunt boy. Gaunt boy with
usually in the medieval times, if you were sad, it was because you had like cholera or something.
Gout.
Dying.
Yeah,
gout.
Gaunt because of the gout.
Sure.
Look at this gaunt boy carrying his bucket of poo down the street.
Why the long-faced kid with the plague?
Hey, gout boy. Why are you washing your face in the river? Your gouty face. Oh, man, I wish you'd be in Game of Thrones so hard for that. So we're down at Phillips Arena, and here's the thing, and I was telling Bert this, because I don't know if you, like, everybody thinks, like, a half-court shot, like, okay, it's the odds that I'm going to make it aren't that great, and I looked up the odds. It's 1 in 100 during a game, like, when you're just the person out of the crowd, not if you're a player. If you're a person out of the crowd, it's 1 in 100. I'd say it's probably more like, in a game, like 15 out of 100 half-quarters. Because no one really shoots half-court shots anymore.
No.
They're usually three-quarter court, if that. And they're running from the opposite free throw line.
What would 15 out of 100? That'd be like 1 out of...
15%.
Yeah.
It'd be 1.5 out of 10. Are you struggling with that math right there? Do you need a minute? You want to get your phone out? Do a little bit of division right now?
No, I don't. I probably couldn't even do it on my phone. Wouldn't even know how to do the equation on my calculator.
So here's the thing, though. Let me set the scene. And I Facebook Live this on my page if you want to go check out what it looked like. But so we get down there on the court, and first we're in the tunnel. And we're in the tunnel, and the game now. And the thing is that the game was close at half. So and the Hawks came back on the Washington Wizards by 5 or 6 points down, and they came up. So the energy in the arena was pretty rocking when the first half ended. And then the cheerleaders down there dancing around, right? And then they take us right on the court, and they're interviewing Bert. And Bert's got the basketball for way too long. I think that was a mistake. I think someone should have taken the basketball out of his hands and been like, no, dude, don't hold on to this for 20 minutes. Because for some reason I feel like it's too real then, and you're stressing out as you hold the ball. When I think if you just get it when you're...
Once it's in your hands, too, it feels like you're probably starting to think about what you need to do instead of just letting it happen.
Right.
So it's like...
Right, you're focusing on, how am I going to grip this?
It's a little heavier than I thought. Where am I going to put my hands? Mm-hmm. Should I go for my hip or for my...
Right, see, everything, you're overthinking all the stuff, and you don't need to do any of that, right? So we get down on the court, and the great part was that they dimmed all the lights.
That's great.
All of it. Except they put a spotlight on the basket and a spotlight on Bert, and then everyone in the crowd had these lit up sticks. What are these, lit up...
the banging...
Yeah, the noisy sticks, right? You got one right there?
Yeah.
So,
Bam
the Bam Bam sticks.
Light up Bam Bams.
You light them up, and then you whack them together. And they wanted it to be cool during the beginning of the whole.
I mean, it's so much because last week we went and practiced, and it was an empty stadium, and I was like, it might be harder in an empty stadium because there's no one here. There's no real backdrop or anything like that. Like, I kind of figured the lights would be on so you'd have people in the background, so there'd be a little more depth perception.
Nah. People
are probably going to grab, it's halftime anyways, like, who sticks really around to watch that? Smart people who already got their beers and hot dogs and came back early. But, so I didn't think it was going to be like it was. And I was down, I was able to get video of it from, like, courtside level.
And it was air ball.
It was an air ball. It was dark in there. There's spotlights swinging around. The dude with the microphone, like the MC, was trolling him.
I mean,
mind, gravity.
Focus. He was getting focused. Do your thing. Don't get in your own head. Create a Zen garden in your mind, full of half-court shots and basketballs.
Full of half-court shots and stadiums full of people with spotlights and
so
a guy dressed like a giant red chicken.
Here's the thing: Bert airballed it, but not like
it wasn't so bad.
He airballed it to the left, and it's not. And he had the distance. He just missed off to the left, and as soon as it left his hand, he's right-handed. So as soon as it left his hand right was too involved in the shot. He over-pushed to go to that side, which. It happens, especially if you're not a basketball player.
You don't push, you launch.
From half court, you're just flinging that fool.
It's all in the hips.
It is legs and hips. You're right.
He was too army. He thought he could. He could weight room it.
He was bench pressing that basketball at the rim. If you haven't seen the video we're talking about, you got to go to my MySpace page. MySpace page. Oh my god, I just said my MySpace page. My Facebook page, which you can go to my MySpace page if you want to, and you can go take a walk through memory lane. See all my pictures from like 2006.
Yeah, cool.
Fat
Brian.
Medium fat Brian.
MySpace Brian?
I'm back to where I was now. Well, I deleted all the Fat Brian pictures. You take those off.
We should bring Fat Brian Friday back into that mix.
Fat Brian Friday? We used to post pictures. I used to be fat.
We got Pat's bad headshots. They're out there.
I'm a little bit insecure about it right now because I'm a little bit thicker than I want to be right now. So Fat Brian Friday is a little too close to home. But maybe I can use it as motivation.
Sure.
To get me up in the
Everyone
gym
shame him.
4:15 in the morning and jump rope. Well, I want to get back to where I was when I was living in L.A. and I was... doing comedy, and this last couple years there's been a lot of life change, a lot of stress.
Jogging.
Yeah, I did a ton of running. Well, in LA, it was easy to be skinny.
Running in the
because you had or thin. I don't want to say skinny. It was easier for me to be thin because all I did was do comedy on the weekends, and during the week we'd go 2 weeks straight where all we were doing was shows at night, and we had an entire day just to write stuff, think of jokes, and work out twice a day, or go hiking, or be active, be far more active. So I was more active. I was more of an active lifestyle, but morning radio, as you can attest from living with me for the last couple months, it's I come home and I'm a zombie, and I have to sleep for a while, and then I get up, and if we go like today, we had a meeting with Meg, who works with the Hawks, and I had a couple chicken wings at Fido's, and all I wanted to do is come back home and sleep, and it was like I just slept right now. Dang it!
I had fish and chips,
and you wanted to sleep too.
I did. I did not though.
Well, here's the thing.
Stayed active.
So Bert is actually he said he was bummed out about it because he threw an airball up, but I'm like, dude, go look at bad half-court shots right now.
I sent him some.
Well, you were heckling him with them. You were not sending them to him to make him feel better. You were like, dude, don't do this, bro.
That's true. But now, looking back, he can use them as motivation.
To do what?
Make himself feel better.
Now I told him, I was like, you know what it sets us up for, Bert? Is a little bit of competition. Can I hit a better half-court shot than you? A little bit of healthy show competition.
I want in.
You want in on that?
Yeah, I'm going underhand.
Underhand style works a lot better, and it's funny. I
Big Lebowski.
I yelled at people on Facebook about it.
Yeah.
I said you're
That's
stupid.
And
you're
then
stupid.
And then I cocked one back and chucked it 100 feet in the air.
So if you haven't noticed the last few days on social media, we posted a couple things, sketches that we've done for the Hawks. We have a ton more of them coming up, and actually we're going to be doing a podcast with Hawks players pretty soon, very shortly.
Yep.
And when I know the list of players, I will post, and you can ask them any questions in the world. Some we probably won't ask. We might. I don't know.
If you do have questions, just hit us with them, and then we'll compile them, and then we'll ask them when we get
I'm not really interested in the traditional interview questions because here's why I hate interviews. Here's why I hate them. We had one with Charlie Puth on the show. Charlie Puth is a musician. He's got that, I'm only one.
I don't care. I don't care.
And I'm doing this for the people listening, Pat, and you at the same time.
I don't think they care. Do you guys think they don't?
I'll be here to save the day.
Who sings that song again?
Charlie Puth.
Oh, let's keep it that
So
way.
he comes up. Oh, Grandpa Slam. Grandpa Slam. Got me with the burn guns out. He got me with the burn shot.
Burn.
You can't do burn pistols. It's better as a burn shotgun.
Okay.
Do that again. Burn shotgun.
Burn.
It's a pretty good one. So
That's
this
70s
is
show
why I hate interviews. Dude drops a song last week on Friday, and the big thing is that he wrote this song is a diss track towards his ex-girlfriend Bella Porter, some actress that was on a bunch of Disney Channel things.
Who cares?
Irrelevant. Snooze fest.
Fake news.
But here's the thing: it comes out on Friday or Thursday. Of course, the speculation created by his own PR agency, because that's what PR agencies do. Is they're like, well, hey, is it about his ex-girlfriend or is it not? I've got experience with them now.
Easy.
I just know what PR agencies do.
It.
I know the spin
Keep
they
going
take.
with the Charlie Puth story.
You don't want me to tell my own stories?
No.
Okay. So they just want to create hype because any hype is hype, right? It's just as long as no one remembers why you were in the news. Just remember that you were in the news because you're like, oh my God, did Charlie Puth write this diss track? And then you realize, like, oh my God, North Korea might be bombing us soon. And you come back to reality and you say, oh, that's right.
Oh, that doesn't matter at all.
Oh, that doesn't matter at all. But all you remember is that Charlie Puth was somebody.
Can I ask you, though?
Interjecting?
That song, that one where he's like, yeah, they won't come. That's a diss track?
Mm-mm.
Oh.
That song...
what's his diss track? Because I'd love to hear what his diss track... Like,
it's
Tupac
about,
and Biggie roll around in their graves.
Hold on.
You call that a diss track?
You're right. NWA is having a moment.
Come on, man.
If Eazy-E was alive...
Oh, my God.
Y'all bitches don't know diss tracks? I almost brought that up to him, but he wouldn't...
Studio Gangster.
Let me back it up.
Charlie Puth's Studio Gangster.
He wrote this song called... Here, I'll play it for you. I have the ability...
Leave your girlfriend alone.
I have the ability to play this song for you.
That's called... That's like the equivalent of like a drunk email at the middle of the night to your ex-girlfriend. Like that shit, you should be embarrassed.
I mean, it's not
that.
even a drunk... I mean, this... Okay, here we go.
Yourself.
Ready? Are you
Grow
ready?
up,
Are you ready?
Charlie.
Here it is. Here it is.
Chuck.
Here it is.
Sounds
dissy right now, huh?
Oh my God, yeah, he's really getting
gonna-
after her. Oh,
damn! Did
look
you
out,
hear that?
girl. Dang, girl. He's singing like you. Oh, you're running around. Oh, dirt on your name. Mm-hmm. You're really hitting it. Ooh. Yeah. Getting after her. You're ruthless, Charlie. Chuck. Oh my gosh. Woo! Hot fire. This guy's ice cold.
Just wait, man. Just wait.
He's ice cold.
Don't jump the gun, man. It gets nasty. It gets nasty.
Ruthless.
Gets nasty.
Charlie ruthless.
Settle down. Let him get nasty right now. Ready?
Ooh, funky. Okay. Now he's getting after her. Yeah.
I do like the bass in it though.
Yeah. Nothing tells your girlfriend to hit the road singing like a girl.
Nobody, yeah, and with over bass. See, so that's it.
Wow.
So that's it. You're right. You want me to pull up a real diss
Guy's
track?
hardcore, bro.
Okay,
This guy's hardcore.
this will not be suitable for if you are someone who is easily offended by language.
Spice One.
No.
NWA.
No, I got one of the greatest diss tracks in all of history right here. No, it's not. What's your favorite? Hey, no one's gonna beat this one. No, this one's number 2 on hit. This is Tupac. Oh, that is not. That's Charlie Puth. This is the diss track, Charlie Puth.
Yeah, this is how you do it.
Yep.
Charlie.
So I fucked your bitch, you fat motherfucker.
There it is. See?
West side, bad boy killers.
I mean, I'm offended.
I'm
It's offensive.
First off, fuck your bitch in the clique you claim. West side, when we
I
ride,
mean,
we quick with gang.
take notes, Charlie.
Be a player, but I fucked your wife. We
That
fucked
is-
some bad
I mean, if
boys.
you're offended
Come
by
on.
bad language, I'm very sorry, but that is called a
that's
diss
bad.
track.
That's called a diss track. Not like you ran around some dirt on my name and didn't think.
Wait.
didn't
Are you
think that
serious?
I'd call you.
Come on, Pat. Hold on, ready?
Didn't think that I'd call you.
You don't think this is a diss track?
Get her, Charlie. Get her. Oh, get her. Oh, he's so mad. That's why I fucked your bitch, you fat motherfucker. Oh, throwing that dirt over. Like, I mean, be like, I've got herpes, and I didn't tell you.
Why didn't we just do this the whole podcast?
Sure.
Just breaking down diss tracks.
Yeah, we should. The diss track section.
'Cause you knew that I'd be at one.
That's right. I banged your sister and your mom. I used to masturbate on your pillow.
All right, I'll pull up another one while you're taking this in.
Sometimes I'd wipe some feces underneath your lip while you're sleeping. Come on. I mean, it's not even like I'm hooking up with your best friend or I keyed your car. It's literally just like I made a song about you in which I sound like probably the exact kind of
How about this
wimpy dude that you called me out to be.
one? How this one?
Oh, did you see Brian's just getting... We're going to have to delete all this, aren't we?
Nah, I'll give the kid warning. NSFW.
NSFW. All right. Well, so you got to cue up what part of the song you want.
I can't. We
Oh,
don't
so
have
this
the
is him coming back. He's coming back. So this is how they knew. How did his girlfriend respond? How did Pooh?
She's not responded yet. Yet to respond.
Oh, I'm sure she's just back there sharpening her knives, coming up with some song about how he doesn't listen. Oh, man. Woo, about how he's too self-involved.
She's throwing a little shade at him a little bit. She did this Instagram video about us. We don't talk anymore. I mean, it's very like childish Instagram stuff. But well, okay, let's get back to the point why I brought that up.
Dumb song too.
The whole point of the interview.
How many diss tracks does he have about this girl? At a certain point,
I mean,
you just end up looking like a loser.
Drake's diss track.
What?
His diss track is like one of the top songs on his album, 0 to 60. And he's talking about Meek Mills. Like it's silly. Like
I don't know who any of these
whatever, it
people
doesn't
are.
matter. It's a rapper. My point is this: we interviewed Charlie Puth, and it was the most boring thing ever because the dude was like tired, and he was like, and one, he wants to play defense the whole time. We're asking these dumb questions about like drinking and partying and everything like that. But at the end of it, it's like he doesn't. So then Bert tries to ask him like, "Hey, people are speculating who's this song written about," and he was like, he just skirts the question. He's like, PR answer, and I go, no, I mean, like, okay, everyone's speculating it's about this Bella chick. Ultimately, is that better for your song to have that hype, or does it distract? Are you glad people are going and looking at your song to think about whether it is about her or what? Like, is that a deliberate?
Is it a good thing that people are now
speculating?
Listening to it?
Right,
And
exactly.
Now
And
people are listening. So
he
it
goes
doesn't
on
matter.
some long-winded answer again, and then he's like, "Hey, if you guys think I'm going to tell you who I wrote the song about, no, it's not going to happen." When I'm like, "That's fine, just say that." Then we clearly know it's about that lady. You just don't want to say. But the thing I hate about interviews is like all we're trying to do is get you to say something stupid, and then this interview's forgettable unless we can trend on social media.
That's like the actual physical representation of tweeting like troll stuff at someone, because you're not willing, like in that situation when you're tweeting at people and you're trolling and you've got like a fake account, you're basically not willing to fess up to the fact that you said this. So if you're going to make a like you think Tupac was like, "Oh no, man, I don't want to tell you."
Do you want to hear the end of that song?
I know what it's about.
I think other people got to hear the end of that song.
He literally calls out every single one of them. It's like, if you're going to make the track, then you should, just own it.
Individually, he calls out every single person as if you
Everybody.
guys didn't know who I was referring
just
to.
Just in case.
Then in the middle of the song, he goes like, "I'm done roasting you fools. I'm going to let everyone else in my crew do it for a set of bars."
Take a shot at it. I mean, listen. Just what difference does it make? It's good PR for both of them.
It is.
Who gives a darn, Brian?
Who gives a darn?
They shouldn't give a darn.
Just
Everybody
let it
take
be known.
yourselves less serious. Go break your nose on the elbow room stairs.
Let it be known, fools, if you're on my podcast with Pat and I, guess what happens if you're a guest? We ask the hard-hitting question.
That's right.
We don't care, all right?
No.
So
I'm going to ask
you better
Dwight
come with your
Howard
game
things
right
like,
now. You better come with your game. And we're going to wrap this thing up here in a second. But so we will be interviewing the Hawks. He's doing Hawkward interviews. You will slowly start seeing more and more social media content coming from the Hawks that has something to do with us.
Check
whether
that
or
stuff
not
out.
They like it.
I made a video of the trolling video for the Wizards that we might.
Oh yeah, Pat. We might start trolling the Wizards and everyone else in the playoffs for them.
That's
okay,
right.
That's gonna do it for the show this week. Well, not this Wednesday, but we'll have another one up for Saturday.
God, dude, this guy is just like he's got no boundaries.
I mean,
he's got no boundaries.
He took the gloves off.
I know.
I mean, you heard that song, "Who Shot Ya?" That's a Biggie song. She just wants attention.
I think that's a metaphor. He really means that she threw dirt on him. She threw dirt on his name. She wrote it down on a piece of paper, and then she threw dirt on it.
You don't think it's a... See, if
that's
it's
very That's very offensive.
If that was a rap
Can
reference,
be.
it'd be dirt on a casket.
It would be. Yes, it would. And then they would actually be talking about someone they actually killed.
Thank you for listening this week. If you're offended by poor language, blame Tupac. That wasn't us.
No, it wasn't.
This
And
Moot
if
Points
you're-
podcast.
If you're offended by straight up psychotic behavior, blame Charlie Puth because this guy's out of control.
He needs to rein it in.
He's out of control.
Rein it in, Puth.
Listen to this.
Stop with all the F-bombs.
You're out of
All right,
control,
we'll see you
man.
next show. Thank you for listening to us. Find us where and when you found us before. We'll be there.
Out of control.
Let's be honest, there are tons of ways to send money back home, and every company promises me the same things: good rates and safe transfers. That's why it can be overwhelming to choose a new way to send money. I switched to Remitly because I can track my money every step of the way, which means I know exactly when my mom will get her money. And with their extensive payment network, my mom can receive her money in a way that is more convenient and safe for her. You should check it out. Go to Remitly.com or download their app to get started. Remitly Inc. is a licensed money transmitter by the state of New York, California, Massachusetts, and other states.